So welcome to this small video about marketing metrics and specifically the hearts, minds, and markets section. In this small video, I'll be primarily focusing on some of the metrics which are rather easy to get and quick to develop. What I'm looking for here is market share, it's the development of our market, it's the penetration, how much we are moving forward, some metrics within the customer journey, and finally a little bit on how people evaluate us after they have purchased. Of course, sometimes also considered as part of the customer journey. But let's start at a different place. The market share. We can estimate the market share in a different number of ways. We could, of course, take the money. How much in total turnover do we have? How many units are we selling compared to the total market? And of course, how much is that we're selling compared to our nearest competitors? It might not make sense for us to compare with the largest global competitor and therefore get a small sample or small size market share. But in the same way, if we're comparing ourselves to small local ones that are not in our near competition, we will also be cheating ourselves. That's also why the decomposition or the structure of the market in the terms of market share is relevant and interesting. However, do be aware of the market definition, and it's something I cannot stress enough. Depending on your market definition, you can have a large market share or a tiny market share. You can have a large market share of your local geographical market, but a tiny one in global terms. So be sure you define the market first and make it a relevant definitions, the one that you can actually address. So including this market share, you also need to consider the time span. What's the time span for your market share? Is it within the last 1 year? Is it the quarter? Or is it over a 10-year period? Depending on your focus, is it shorter, longer term? Is it development focused? You could and should change this time span. But we start out with where are we now? And if we're looking at it from a brand and or a category perspective, what are the sales of our brand, of our product category compared to this total sales within the group of products? So brand category over total sales in the target group. Then we look at the penetration. How much has people purchased of our brand or category compared to the total population? Notice the difference between target group and population. The total population is much larger than our focused target group. So our penetration is also something about the knowledge of it, right? If we then look into our customer journey, or how people go from being aware until they search and find our product, the first step we are looking at is percentage of the total population who is aware of us. Are they actually knowledgeable about our product and our services? And is that increasing? If they don't know of us, well, then they will not consider us. Which comes to the next one, our top of mind KPI or metric. Is this the first brand a customer considers? How many of the customers consider our brand or our product as the first one? Of course, they need to know it first, but how many does actually consider us first? Which also links very closely up to the knowledge. And this knowledge of our brand comes in two variations, the helped and the unhelped. Helped means they can find our brand on a list of potential competing products. The unhelped, they can list our name without us providing them with a predefined list. It can be very, very different from a product being recognized. That's a brand, to I remember this brand, and unhelped knowledge of our product moves it quite close to top of mind. Then we're looking at the beliefs, because now we know they know our brand, and then we look at the beliefs. The beliefs are the attributes related to our brand, and how much is each different attribute related to our brand. How many things of us as quality, how many things of us as good value, how many of things of us as good design and innovative, and those kind of things. And the attributions to these related and ratios compared to our competitors. The likability is very closely related again to the knowledge, and this is where people rank things. How do they rate us compared to other known brands? So we're in the unhelped category. How do they like us compared to? Remember, just because we're liked does not necessarily mean that they will purchase our products. It also links up to the beliefs and the attributes related to it. Will they purchase us then is the intention, and this is a rather difficult one to get, but sometimes we have a probability of purchasing, especially in the online field. We measure this and compare and see in the shopping cart. Are they putting our products in the shopping cart? Then it's very likely that they are purchasing. How many of them will give us statistics over a time of visitors versus probability of purchase and actual purpose. The last of the customer journey measures is the willingness to search. This is a rather cool one. It's one of the ones that we would actually like to get, but it's also one which is very, very difficult to find. And it's very closely related to what's known as switching costs. Is a customer willing to change store, change the volume, or postpone, delay the purchase in order to get our brand? And how big is that percentage? How much volume change will they accept? How much delay will they accept? This is the willingness to search parameter, the last one before we have the actual purchase. Did we have the purchase? That's rather easy to measure, but I'll get back to that in a different video. The last one I want to talk about is the post-purchase behavior. The post-purchase behavior is the behavior or the activities, satisfactions after a customer has bought our product. You might have noticed that quite often after purchasing a product, you'll get an email saying, well, will you be willing to recommend this product to a friend? That's very probably the net promoter score that they are measuring here. It's in a scale of 1 to 10, and the 9 and the 10 is the 8, 9, and 10 is the score that we're looking for. If that is the percentage of people who recommend us and is likely to recommend us with an 8 or 9 or 10 score, that's our net promoter score. The next one is our satisfaction. It's biased, but it's the satisfaction perceived by the customer on a 1 to 5 scale. Willingness to recommend is closely related to the net promoter score, but again, it's the biased where we ask them on a 1 to 5 scale and not categorize them. That was the metrics for hearts, minds, and markets. Thank you for listening in, and go for the next one as well. See you.